Welcome to we on episode 7 now.
We're in episode
We're not just a cop out
almost 2 months.
after we get bored.
Yeah,
Not that we're bored, but like we're kind of sticking with it here.
yeah.
I'll take that.
We're
Hey,
up. The episodes are up.
the episodes are up.
Finally.
Listen, it was a bit of a task figuring stuff out. I'll admit. Took a little longer than anticipated. We tried to figure out video for tonight. I was supposed to have it figured out by tonight. Again, I'll admit. Did not. We couldn't rinky jink it together in time. But again, the ambition will be for next week. I promise I will do work over the weekend to get this all sorted out because I have some free time. Allegedly.
Whatever works for me, pal.
How you been?
Good.
Last time we spoke,
We've got a lot to talk about today.
lot to get through, plus Team USA.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Um,
Elliot said that on Saturday night, he said the teams will be announced December 4th.
mhm.
So we're coming up on it. So we got USA and Canada next 2 weeks, and we'll go from there.
Last we spoke, we were playing the Red Wings the next day.
Yeah, so we had 2 back-to-backs since we last spoke. So Detroit, Ottawa, or Detroit, Montreal back to back on Friday, Saturday, and then Ottawa, Washington back to back on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Right. I mean, over that span, Leafs 3-1.
Yep. So we'll start in Detroit.
Sure. I can't remember if I saw this game. This was last Friday?
It was Friday. Yeah, I was here. You watched it.
Right.
I was here.
Right. Okay. Because Cam Talbot was in that. Leafs played well.
Yeah. Did Stolarz play? Stolarz played the Wings game, didn't he?
Yes.
So this is the game that he grabbed the puck with his bare hand.
Oh.
So you definitely
Oh.
watch that game.
Right. Okay. Memory being jogged. This is a little improvised here, folks. Um, what night? That is a iconic photo. That is a not giving up on the puck, getting the job done. Blades everywhere. The building could have been on fire. People evacuating. Anthony Stolarz still would have grabbed that puck and make sure the job got done. I love it. I absolutely love Anthony Stolarz in that Detroit game.
We're gonna get to Anthony Stolarz and Jack's relationship in a bit, but let's stick to the Leafs for now. Um, yeah, overall solid night.
Solid night.
Didn't allow too many crazy scoring chances. Didn't do much offensively,
Yeah.
but enough to get it done.
Like Stolarz wasn't too busy, but um, yeah, John Tavares having a hell of a season.
We're gonna get to that.
Oh my
I got
gosh.
a lot to say on that topic.
Riley 2 goals, Marner goal and assist in that one.
Riley was the best he's been this week
Agreed.
in a long time.
He's been picking up momentum. He hasn't been bad this season. There's been no maybe a couple I don't know. I remember a couple plays even with the game yesterday where it was like, oh geez, like Riley, like you're a little out of position there. You're a little out of gas. But production wise, he's doing well.
It's better. It's we've spoken about my feelings on Riley,
We all know it.
and I love Morgan Riley. I just don't think we can win when he's our number one DP
When he's paid what he is.
and he's paid that much money.
Yeah.
That's all I got. And there's nothing against Morgan Riley. I think Morgan Riley's a very serviceable offensive defenseman in the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of a 1B number 2 defenseman to me on a
Yeah.
true contending team, right?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am.
You want to hop to Montreal?
Montreal game.
Pacioretty hurt.
It was pretty status quo. Montreal's
Kind of expected what was going to happen.
Montreal's looked brutal, and the Leafs didn't seem to have any trouble whatsoever.
No. The big story coming out of it was Pacioretty getting hurt and out for like a couple weeks. It sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a bit. The big guns on the Friday Saturday game, they were scoring.
Yeah,
It was without Matthews, they were scoring. So Matthews still out.
Nylander
Was
won, Marner
Matthews
won.
out before last time we recorded? I don't think he was.
No,
So yeah, Matthews missed all 4 games this week.
and seemingly still not like 100%. Like
Yeah,
no word of him being like
there's no.
even at practice. He's not skating yet.
They kind of hinted at him being able to play maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, but that didn't come to fruition. So, but yeah, Montreal was pretty status quo. Montembeau's kind of fallen back down to earth.
Frickin' Revo got an assist. And this is where
Karibo.
Timmins got a goal
I
and
think we got a shorty at Mara shorthanded. That was her first shorty this year. Yeah, so just a solid performance. Wall wasn't crazy busy.
yeah,
Did the job.
yeah.
He had a shutout for most of the game, I thought. No, that was that was the Wings game on
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So
pretty
good, two in a
status
row.
quo.
3-1-4-1.
Yeah,
And
two
then
results you'd expect. And then Tuesday, Wednesday are kind of the games that are a little more telling. Um,
what the hell happened with Ottawa?
the Ottawa game on Tuesday night
That was some of the worst hockey I've
was
seen them play
was
this
tough to
season.
watch. That's you're going back to a couple weeks ago against Columbus, against St. Louis. It was the
Yeah.
same story.
And it wasn't even like, at least in the Columbus one, if I recall, they were coming off a back to back. You're coming off of what? Sunday,
2 days
Monday, two
rest.
days rest.
Yeah,
Like they looked tired. They looked just
yeah,
weren't in the game at all. And like we said this at the beginning of the season, where it's like you don't have to win every game. It's just it'd be nice to make sure you at least showed up a little bit.
yeah,
Like outside of, I don't know, again, John Tavares, no one looked alive out there.
yeah. It was a tough watch. I wouldn't say it was quite as bad as the Columbus and St. Louis one. Like, I didn't think it was that bad. Um,
No goals against a not great defensive team. And to be fair, like Ottawa was playing really well. Ottawa was playing good
Ottawa's playing a lot
hockey,
better.
and we were playing bad hockey, and
Yeah,
so that just makes it all the more kind of polarizing
I
and
just
makes that gap look bigger.
I think that listen, the effort should always be there no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing with the style of play now is that they're more reliant on the defensive side of the game than the offensive side of the game to win games.
Yeah.
So if the defensive side isn't working, they aren't scoring enough to make up for it on most nights.
They're,
That's what it seems like so far.
yeah. Um.
They've got goalied a couple times here, and it's not like Olmark really had too much to do.
No. If I recall, they had some okay chances, like particularly coming into the third. Um, the Leafs were trying to make a push at the end of the game, but Allmark stood strong.
Yeah,
Like
I,
there was no real
there
there
was
there
there was
wasn't even any real great
there
chances.
wasn't like the Washington game we'll get to, but the Washington game you
Oh,
kind of felt like okay maybe we're still in this a little bit. The auto game I never felt that. I felt like watching the third period like I don't think there's a way back here.
yeah. There's a lot to get into. There's a lot to sink the teeth into with this Washington game
So we'll
on
get
multiple
so
fronts.
we'll get to Wednesday's Washington game. It was a barn burner.
Oh my goodness. I was all over the place.
Yeah.
Um
Just a quick shout out. We didn't mention this guy for our Team Canada possible goaltenders. Logan Thompson looks pretty fucking
he's
good.
looking pretty good.
He's looking pretty fucking good.
Up until this game he
It's
was
his
on
first
what
loss.
all
He's
season.
7-0 going into this game, and he still hasn't lost a
And he still
regulation,
played really well.
and he played really well. Yeah. Just a
Um
quick shout out for Logan Thompson there. Back to the Leafs.
story of the game. Um
Same story as the Ottawa game. Dog shit first 2 periods.
First two, yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna say the same thing.
yeah.
First two, and then the third, they came
They
alive.
came alive in the third.
There in this game, there was 4 video reviews, and they
Yeah.
talked about this on the panel
Oh, it was
after.
ridiculous. It was
Two
completely
penalties, and
ridiculous.
like, don't get me wrong, like we're on the Leafs side here, and so it's like the penalty was called back. I think that was fair. I don't think that Nyes hit was a penalty.
It was not a penalty. No,
And
it
so
was.
it's like,
He
okay,
didn't even
great.
do anything. The guy ran into
The
him.
guy ran into him. His
No, it
head
was
was
brutal.
down. Like, what do you want the guy to
I
do?
don't. I kind of looking back on it, I don't think any of the calls were wrong.
No.
after they
Um,
reviewed it. I don't think they were. The high stick was really close,
and it
but it was
was,
too hard to tell.
at least on the broadcast, it was after the game they gave us a different
Yeah.
angle that was like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, that
It's
was that was a
tough
high
to
stick.
tell. It's a little. It was a little high, I think.
The
And
other one
the goal they
was
scored. Who was it?
Lawrence
Lawrence.
on the
Kind of.
knee.
Yeah. He directed it into the net.
I get it.
According to the rule, it's no goal.
If
It is what it is.
I think
I don't
if
necessarily agree with it, but
I think
according
if
to
he
the
had just been cruising,
yeah,
it would have been fine. It was
yeah.
the fact that he moved the leg a little
Like
bit.
I would go with that Leafs goal and then the Washington goal that got called back for goal interference. I would say according to the current rules, they got the calls right on the ice,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't agree with the rule in that sense. I thought the wall goalie interference, the one they called back, I thought it should have counted. Not that it should have counted. According to
yeah.
the rules, it shouldn't have counted, but
I,
I would not have called that goal interference.
I could
I thought that was soft.
I thought I could have seen it being a coin flip either way. Like,
Yeah,
I agree, it was kind of
yeah.
soft. It was like, was there contact? Yeah. Was it
Like
like,
very minimal. Like it's not impeding the save.
and what? Yeah, exact, and
Yeah,
that's it. Was it gonna change anything? And did he have time to recover and still
yeah.
have time to make the saves? In my eyes, yeah.
Which we're not.
You're a goalie, so
Yeah,
you know better than
yeah.
most.
Yeah. It didn't. I didn't think it. I don't think Wall saw anything. There was
No,
six guys standing in front of him. Yeah, I don't think the guy nudging his blocker was affecting anything. He didn't see the puck.
wasn't there a little contact on the pad?
Uh,
Sorry,
maybe a
drink water
little.
here, hydrated.
Maybe a little, barely though.
Yeah,
But we're not going to complain. It went our way. But
went our
just like
way.
the Lawrence call, I would have called. I would have liked that to be a goal. I didn't think, but according to the rule, it was no goal.
There's been a lot of banking in off of body parts this year.
Yeah,
There's been a decent
well,
amount of
that's
off
what
the legs,
when
off
it's
the
more
skates.
when you're playing more north south, get pucks to the net.
Yeah,
That's you got to score goals that way,
yeah.
and that's the one thing that's gonna be different, right? The offensive game, we're not going to get as many clear cut scoring chances because we're not cheating as much as we used to.
Yeah.
We used to send Nylander was the big one, but a lot of guys we'd send a winger outside the blue line on the breakout. We'd send the winger high to kind of maybe push it either you push the defenseman back and give yourself a little bit of space, or he doesn't go and just flick the puck out and the guy's gone on a breakaway, right?
Yeah.
Your Berube's not going to do that, right?
No.
That's not going to happen. So maybe you're taking a little bit away offensively, but you're sacrificing that for way better defensive play, right?
Yeah. So Washington opened the scoring. They scored first. I can't even remember who it
It was
was.
Radish.
Right. And then that was answered quickly by the
McMahon was
Leafs.
like less than a minute after.
And then it was a second period when Washington got their other two.
Strom got one at the end of the first. It
Oh,
was
it
two
was
one
in the
at
first still.
intermission. Yeah,
Okay.
it was 2-1 intermission, and then this Protas guy, Protus, who's been buzzing for Washington, he's been really good out of nowhere. Scored in the second, um, and then that was kind of it. The Leafs kind of shut it down after that.
Yeah. They didn't look good in the second.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
Came
First
out
two
in the
periods.
third.
The third, you kind of
My goodness, we came to play some hockey
yeah, there
finally.
was a little bit of jump coming out of the gate, and again the big guns, the depth score just isn't there.
No.
And we're going to be just like always overly reliant on these four guys
Yeah. Like, sure
because
McMahon's one, and like,
McMahon hasn't really done much. He kind of had a little spell last year where he did really well.
and he started the season okay, but he slowed
He
down
slowed
a
down.
lot.
You kind of counted on Robertson maybe taking a step. It hasn't been there.
He hasn't been on
Domi
there at
can't
all,
shoot the puck, so he's not going to score any goals.
and he shouldn't. And I'm starting to kind of see your perspective
Yeah,
on Domi,
yeah.
where I don't know, you're just
It's
seeing. I think his confidence is shook pretty
all the
hard.
things that you get frustrated with Marner about. You should with Domi, but Marner's talent is a million times more.
There was a post today where it was just like Kerfoot versus Domi, like
Yeah,
they're the same thing.
it's the same thing.
Um,
And Kerfoot never pretended to be
Stud,
some
tough
big
guy.
tough guy, right? He just played his game. I didn't like Kerfoot either. Oh, I didn't not like Kerfoot. Kerfoot was paid too much money for what his role was.
But he was honest about what he was.
But at least you knew what he was, right?
Yeah. Um,
But yeah, uh, even in the third though, we were obviously a lot better, but just a lot of stupid turnovers from the usual suspects, right? the guys that want to make plays, but there's a time and a place for it. Nylander a couple times. The first goal on the zone entry on the first
Yeah,
in the first period
yeah, I was
gives
pissed
the
off.
puck away, right?
Yeah,
There was a couple times in the third. Marner with typical Marner stuff, trying to put a pass through four guys.
it'd look great if it happened. It's
Yeah,
just that's gonna be a one
and
percent
then
pass.
you go to overtime, and we had the puck for probably the first 2 minutes.
The almost the entirety of the first
Yeah,
like 3 minutes of the
I think
overtime,
Washington changed once after we had changed like
we
five
were
times.
all over them,
Yeah,
and that was great,
and then
phenomenal,
we kind of lost. You need puck possession in the 3-on-3 overtime. Once you lose it, it's going to be hard to get it back.
extremely
You
hard to get
pretty
it
much
back.
have to get a face off in order to get it back, right?
And I think who was it? Wool shut down when we did turn it over. It took Wool shutting it
Yeah.
down, no rebound, and we
Um,
got the face off.
and then Marner nearly
Wow,
gifts them the game.
wow.
He
Um,
walks out in front of his own net, and Wall bails his ass out. And then,
holy smokes! Like just and I saw the 5 hole opening, and I'm just
yeah,
like shit.
yeah,
But it went high, and Wool was far out of the
he
crease.
was aggressive, yeah.
Unbelievable confidence to make
And
that
then
save.
Marner whacks it down the ice, and Tavares is off to the races, and he
Um,
finishes the game. Um, and I love the commentary after the game. Look at this play by Marner. I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna ignore the turnover in front of his own net 2 seconds earlier.
like don't get me wrong, because Marner was the one who tied it up. Phenomenal shot with the feed from
He
Riley.
absolutely whiffed the shit out of that. He didn't mean
That
to do
was
that.
it went far post top
Yeah, he
corner.
whiffed the shit out of it.
Got in.
Like
Got in.
it went
I'll
in.
take
I
this
don't care.
great.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. And a
But
great
let's not
feed by
pretend like it
Riley.
was some like elite shot here. He just whiffed the crap out of it, and the goalie. It was a little knuckle puck, and the goalie was already on the ground. Look out for the Advil.
Um,
Um, yeah,
and then
Nylander
to
got one. Nice has been every
phenomenal.
night.
Every night showing up,
Yeah,
showing he
he
belongs
should have scored on the
in
Nylander
the
goal.
top
Actually, he
six.
got unlucky. He hit the post.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was even trickling in. The
Yeah,
Nylander got to take credit for a quick whack. You're
yeah.
welcome, Nylander. Thank nice. But John, like showing just phenomenal, got the job done.
But on the Marner goal, Nylander had some good patience there. But on the Marner goal, and I really want to shout out Tavares with the cleanest face-off win, one of the
Yeah,
cleanest face-off wins you'll see,
yeah.
and just everything about Tavares' game right now
Thank
is,
goodness John Tavares is a Maple Leaf.
yeah, like I can't believe this is not the same player. I don't, I
Yeah,
even no,
like
I can't say that. This is the exact same player. The difference for him is the system. The system suits
yeah,
Tavares' game to a T,
yeah.
whereas the previous system suited the other three players.
Matthews,
The four,
Marner.
actually, you put Riley in there too. It suits Riley more than
Yeah,
this system,
yeah.
right? Whereas all the other four guys, Matthews can adapt to this, I'd say, but
Like
the
I
other
know
three,
it's been what 14, 15 games so far this season.
yeah,
I think this
you're
is
pushing that.
probably some of the best we've seen of John Tavares as a Maple Leaf.
They played 18 already. Holy shit!
Like,
They played
yeah,
four this week, so
true.
yeah.
I think he's like
Like overall play,
in
100%.
terms of dominating and getting
Yeah.
results and just looking really
The best
comfortable.
he's looked since like the first 2 years.
Yeah.
He was really good the first 2 3 years.
Under Babbers.
Uh,
Was that was
I
Babcock,
think he
wasn't it?
might have got fired like really quickly
Okay.
after Tavares joined.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the year that Tavares signed. I think that was Babcock's, and he was done in like November.
Hey Marner, rank your teammates.
Oh God.
Um, any other notes from the game? Hot,
No, I don't think
like
so.
I was excited. That was a great effort in the
It's a good
third.
character win.
Yeah,
I will, but you don't want to make the first two periods and the previous game
and
a habit, right?
against a good Washington
Yeah, good
team.
team, very good team. Surprisingly, a
A little quiet
strong
from
team.
Ovi. Ovi didn't really. I think he had one shot on net, and it was not a good shot.
Yeah, Ovi's always in the mix though.
Yeah,
Like maybe not offensively, but he's always in the
he
mix.
did just didn't stand out. He did a
Well,
massive hit.
on the Protus, well, I don't know how to pronounce his name. On the Protus goal in the second, they had a 2-on-1, and I believe it was McCabe and Tanev, and they had the 2-on-1, but then McCabe got back in time to cut it off, but they knew Ovi was the guy that didn't have the puck, so they both went to Ovi, And then he tried to pass to Ovi, it didn't work out, but then I came back out front.
Yeah.
And the guy was wide open, right? They could have probably played that
Yeah.
2-on-1 a little better. 2-on-2 it ended up being. But, it's just that threat of Ovi. It's always a threat to score,
Yeah.
whether he's playing well or not, right? And
And he's hot right now.
we talked about it last week. It's looking more and more likely like this record is getting broken this year.
I'd like to see
It
it.
looks like it's coming because he
He's
doesn't.
39.
He's got
If
like
he
a little
doesn't,
over 30 to beat the record.
if he doesn't, he'll get it done next year for
It'll be
sure.
early, yeah, next year. But if you can get it done this year,
Go Ovi.
good for Ovi. That's all I had for the games.
Yeah, me too.
Um, I just want to
Oh,
know.
actually, pause.
Yeah,
Stolarz looked weak against Ottawa.
yeah.
The
It
one
was
in
it wasn't
particular that
it.
stood out to me, the close side glove.
Yeah, the
That
last goal. The last goal. It was an odd man rush. He probably could have done better, but it wasn't the
I know
greatest.
everyone has off games.
Yeah.
He just looked a little rattled.
At the same, like I didn't think he was terrible. I didn't think it was his fault. We didn't score any goals.
Yeah,
So you can't win games if you don't score any goals.
yeah.
And just like the team in front of him wasn't great. He made like 40 saves that night.
Both goalies were really busy that night. I
Yeah,
think
yeah. Olmark had,
not until the third
but the
was
Leafs didn't.
Allmark busy,
I think
but
Olmark had like less than 30 though.
we'll look it up.
But I was just looking at the score, and I believe he had 27 saves.
So still, I mean,
Stolarz had
coming.
like 40.
Yeah,
So there's a big gap there. Yeah, it's Olmark 27 saves. Stolarz made 38 saves on 41 shots. So a little bit of a gap there.
yeah.
But
I'm so high on Stolarz.
yeah,
I expect him to save
I
everything now.
didn't expect Stolarz criticism coming out of your mouth.
I'm trying to be objective here.
Yeah,
I still love you, Stolarz. Please come hang out with me. I want a. I named my fantasy team after him. Did you notice?
yeah, I noticed because I told you this because the Nylander slander has to stop at some point.
True.
So I told you to change your name.
My name is 88 overrated, and now my
Just a
name
brutal team name.
now it is a Stolarz is born.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
A lot better.
It's a lot better.
Okay, moving on.
Just kind of want to touch on why is the play so up and down? Like it's like 2-3 game stretches where they look
Kind
good,
of
and then it's 2-3 game stretches where they look garbage.
a bit of a golden question
Yeah,
because it's peaks and valleys, and it is high highs and low lows.
probably kind of what we talked about at the beginning of the season. You need to go through growing pains a little bit with the new system.
We're still what, like 9-4, 9-5.
I mean, yeah,
So still a very, very good
yeah,
record.
very respectable.
But the games that are bad look really bad.
Yeah, the games that are bad are bad.
And even the Washington one, it would have been a really bad had they not woken up in the third.
Yeah, 10-6-2. It's not terrible. You're second in the division. You're not in a bad spot. Boston, who's looked like garbage, is in the playoffs.
Horrible.
So the rest of the Atlantic, Tampa's not kind of falling off a little bit, although they have a couple games in hand. Ottawa's looking a little better. The Wings and the Sabres are kind of meh. Montreal looks like garbage.
Yeah.
So it's
Montreal's
basically
brute.
yeah, they're bad.
It's
They're bad.
Marty St. Louis. I saw a highlight
We
clip
kind
of
of
Marty St.
we
Louis.
talked about them last week, I believe.
I think so.
And
I don't think I mentioned. If you haven't seen it, go look up the clip. It's like a minute long of literally just Marty St.
yeah,
Louis cursing on the
yeah.
bench. It is entertaining.
Yeah, we kind of touched on Montreal, just like they've been bad the previous seasons, but the effort was there, and they didn't get like the the stats, like the underlying stats, weren't so terrible. Whereas they're brutal this year. It just doesn't look like they're taking a step, right? But we
Yeah.
don't want to get into Montreal anyway. We're staying in Toronto here.
Yeah.
Why is the Leafs play so up and down? They'll be okay because there's a lot of change outside of Florida with every other team. There's some teams that are trying to get into the playoffs that haven't been in a long time. A couple of teams who have been contenders for a long time who are kind of getting older a little bit.
Yep.
Florida's going to be the main team in the Atlantic. The Leafs have a little bit of growing pains to go through with the new system, but I think they'll still be fine. It's just like the play. You don't want to lose. When you lose, you don't want to lose this badly. You want to
Yeah.
be in the game. It feels like every game we lose is a blowout.
Yeah.
And every
And
other game is just normal.
And you're just frustrated watching too.
Yeah. You're just pissed off.
It's tough to watch sometimes with that.
Yeah. A positive note. So on Friday night, I said to Jack that the Leafs power play is starting to buzz, and I said it's back. And Jack said, "Well, no, it's not.
It's a
It's too
small
small of a sample
small
size."
sample
And then the
size.
next night, they scored 2 power play goals, and he said, "Okay, it's back now." I said, "Oh wow, 24 hours, and now all of a sudden it's back." The 2 power plays convinced him. Jesus, the power play looks to be running a lot smoother,
Yeah, I'd agree.
and they're
It's
putting the
looking
puck in
good.
a
They're
little bit.
they're moving the puck
And even without
properly.
Matthews, right?
Yeah.
There are a couple
And
of games there where they started with Matthews, but then since he's been out,
well, and they're not. Whoa, whoa, Jan. They're not looking for the Matthew shot every fucking
yeah,
time now,
yeah,
and so they're actually playing
yeah,
a reasonable, well balanced power play.
yep, yeah. Just put the puck in the net.
Get shots on fucking net.
Puck in the net. Riley's back on PP1. He's actually looked a lot better since returning to PP1
Yeah,
than previously. I just wonder when Matthews comes back. Nyes has been so good. Tavares has been so good. Who's coming off that power play? Is Nyes coming off that power play?
I don't want Nice off that power play, but
But
something's got to give.
somebody's got to go off that power play.
Yeah,
I'd say Tavares is probably the first candidate
I,
in the core four.
I think you're probably
Nyes is probably the first one off,
yeah,
but Tavares in the core four is probably the first
because
one out.
Matthews is because you want John taking the face off.
Yeah, but Matthews can take the face off if needed.
He
Like it's not a big deal,
yeah, but I'd
right?
honestly, if you put Matthews, if he doesn't have to take that face off, just get him in a shooting position
Well,
so you
that's
can
what they
win it,
always do. He always
wire it.
stands at the point. Tavares takes the draw, right?
Love it. I don't mind
That's what they've been doing for 5 years.
that.
But yeah, it's just
Yeah,
nice to see.
it's good momentum, and they
Yeah,
scored last night on the power play right at the end of the game. That's how they got to overtime.
and I think they're going to need it because they've been so strong for even strength scoring. They've been one of the best teams in the league for even strength scoring for the past couple years. And now we're talking about that defensive game.
They hopped from like
So it's not,
32nd or 29th to like 14th
yeah,
in like 3 games.
yeah. So the even strength scoring isn't going to be as strong. You're kind of sacrificing that a little bit because of to be safer defensively, right?
Yeah,
So the power play is going to need to be firing on all cylinders pretty much at all times.
yeah.
They need it. Um, that's all I had for like play stuff. A couple of just roster stuff going on.
Um,
So Dewar and Hawk and Paw made their season debuts.
yeah.
Hawk and Paw's a Leafs debut.
Hockenpah, I didn't realize how freaking big he is.
Oh, he's a big boy.
He's a
He
thick
bangs.
bitch.
He bangs.
Um, he looked okay.
Yeah,
There was a few times where I'm like,
Hawk
okay,
and Paw's a third pairing defenseman. If you hear his name a lot, it's not a good thing.
okay.
If you don't hear his name, he's doing his job.
And you can see why we acquired him.
Yeah.
Um, Dewar, you couldn't have pointed Dewar out on the ice
Yeah,
to me.
he didn't really do all
No
that
idea he was in the
He was on
building.
the third line, I think.
I thought he was serving popcorn.
He was on the third line,
He
yeah,
wasn't at the
because
concession stand.
they kept Camp, Lawrence, and Reeves together, and Dewar played with Holmberg. I'm done with Holmberg. I'm so done with Holmberg. He doesn't do anything for me. I can't wait till next year. We put Tavares at third line center and sign a second line center. Oh my god. Yep. And then because of the Dewar and Hockenpah returns, Benning got sent down. He cleared waivers,
Everyone knew he was
which
going to get sent down.
we knew that. I think they've been trying to work on a deal to get him somewhere in the league where he's going to play in the NHL because
Yeah,
he's like 31.
yeah.
So I know they were trying to do right by him. No, there's been no taker so far. But at least he gets game time if he goes down, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't getting game time.
You're playing
So
hockey for a living.
yeah,
You're fine.
yeah. Matthews, we haven't really heard anything if he's any closer to returning. Another Pacioretty injury. The guy is just so unlucky with
Against
injuries.
Montreal,
Yeah,
too.
the guy is so unlucky with injuries.
Yeah.
I just don't
It
even.
sounds like a couple weeks,
At least
maybe.
it's not. Yeah, it's not crazy serious like the past few years.
Have they announced like any specifics?
It's the
It's the
NHL.
leg.
It's the NHL.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the
Okay.
NHL. It's either upper or lower body. If you play fantasy football, you know you check your lineup every week. This guy's questionable. They tell you what the actual injury is. They give you a timeline. In the NHL, it's if it's above the hip, it's upper body. If it's below the hip, it's lower body. That's all we know.
Considered day to day.
There's no specifics going on.
Unless
The
the
guy could have snapped his leg in half. They're gonna say lower body injury out for 6 months. Like,
it's like we saw the shin. It was
yeah,
90 degrees.
exactly. But yeah, just the guy's been so unlucky at the back
Yeah,
end of his career with injuries,
yeah.
and it's just unfortunate to
And he's
see
been an asset to
because
the
he's been
Leafs
solid. He's been decent.
for what we're paying for him.
Yeah,
He's been a great
yeah.
asset.
He's probably been the best secondary scorer
Yeah, easily, easily.
outside of Nice,
I don't even consider nice secondary
but
at
just
this
like
point.
outside of the four guys, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of what
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
saying. Out of the four big guns that make the big money,
Yeah.
outside of Nice, Pacioretty was kind of, and even he wasn't doing. Don't get me wrong, he wasn't lighting the world on fire, but yeah, just unfortunate. But it doesn't sound too serious, so it looks like he'll be back
Wish
at
him
some
well.
point in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, he comes
Eat
back
some
soon.
Jello.
All right, couple specific things that we kind of touched on already. We talked about Tavares
Uh huh.
already, so I'm not going to get too much into it. I will not slander John Tavares
No.
one iota
No.
ever again. Not that I was ever really negative about him. I just kind of thought the money hinders us. The money that he makes hinders us.
And you didn't see the results.
And it's just because it was the style of play that we were playing and kind of the way the NHL's going. He's not a quick player. He doesn't fit that system.
Mm-hmm.
He fits this system very well, and he's thriving. And he lost the captaincy.
He
I think
looks.
it took a little bit of pressure off of him.
He just looks comfortable.
And exactly what I said before the season: forget the price tag. Go out there and play hockey.
Yeah.
Pretend that John Tavares. Don't worry about what John Tavares makes.
John Tavares
And look what he's
has
doing.
indicated he wants to stay in Toronto.
Yep. And it sounds like, based on the reports, that they're going to work on a deal, but they're not in any big rush.
Yeah.
That's
Which makes sense.
that's what I'm hearing.
No problem with that.
Yep.
If anything, waiting is only doing John good. He's showing he can adopt to
Yeah.
this play
Yep.
style. He can
Yep.
thrive in this play style,
Yep.
and that he's okay with moving aside from the sea.
Yeah. Just we don't want the money to get too high because
Still be reasonable with us,
we
John.
we want to.
John, bring a cup to Toronto.
Yeah.
So
You've made
far,
your money, John. You've made your money.
yeah. And
It's time to take a little bit of a hit.
can I go into something real quick?
Yeah.
Because it's Toronto specific. Taylor Swift
Oh God.
is in Toronto this weekend. She's performing
She's in
tonight.
Toronto
Actually,
for 2 weeks. I'm going to Toronto next weekend. It's going to be a
that's
nightmare.
gonna be hell. How many empty seats do you think there are in that arena? Probably not one. Not for Taylor
Well,
Swift.
they're at Rogers. They're at the Blue Jays. They're not in Scotiabank.
Even so,
Well, Taylor Swift. She's the biggest star in the world.
I am so fucking sick. Sorry to curse. We're trying to be reasonable. These shots of these stands empty. I am so mad at trying to be a Toronto Maple Leaf supporter and seeing such shitty show up for the team. When you see these wide shots and there's entire sections empty, there's 9 minutes left in the third. It is insane.
Entire sections.
There is entire
Entire
sections.
sections.
And I know what it is. It is all these Bay Street bros, these finance companies who are whining and dining their clients. And it's not just finance, don't get me wrong, but it's all of these season ticket holders who price every real fan out of the market so they can go and entertain a client. And then if the Leafs are losing, which they were in Ottawa, and 9 minutes left in that game, it didn't take much of a time to get a comeback against Washington. You had people with leaving 10 minutes left in the game. How are the how does that feel good as a fan? How does that feel good as a player?
Because they're not fans. They just chuck money at whatever they want.
That is so shitty.
It's the way of the world, pal.
And I cannot stand it. And I just needed to get this out.
The way
Because I
of the
remember
world.
watching the Ottawa game being like, I'm watching this to the very end because that's what a fan does.
Yep.
And it sickens me to my core that you are pricing out families. You are pricing out fans who just want to see a game. If for some people, it is an entire 2 weeks paycheck to go and you and someone want to go see a game.
People talk about how well Leafs fans travel. It's because those people would rather pay for a flight to go to Fort Lauderdale
Yep.
to watch them play the Stanley Cup champions, and that's more affordable than it is to go to
The
Scotiabank.
iconic one from last year was the Buffalo game. I am just something needs to change there.
It's not going to change.
You want to get a great fan base. You want to be a fucking legendary
Are you
franchise.
born yesterday?
I'm just
Sports is a business.
I get it. I get it's a business. But have some sort of contractual clause where if you have a season ticket holder and you need to confirm you are headed to that game like 3 days before or something, or they have the right to sell your ticket. Confirm or don't.
Well,
And, or
you
maybe
could
you can get
confirm and then just not show up. What's what?
then there's a fine. I don't know. But I am sick and tired of empty arenas for one of the most storied franchises in the fucking game.
I think empty arena might be a little bit of an exaggeration.
Because all the real fans can only afford to be in the upper bowl. Anyway, I just need to get that out.
It's not honestly. The Leafs have been like that for so long. It's starting to get that way everywhere in the league now. In all sports, not just hockey. But yeah. For
Hey, MLSE.
I'll give you a story.
Go ahead.
So, for those who follow soccer at all, there's a team in England called Aston Villa. They're playing in the big European competition. They've qualified for the Champions League this year. And I saw there's a big commotion among their fans that the ticket prices for those games are too high. They're pricing people out, and they showed the price of the ticket, and I laughed my ass off.
How much?
£90.
Okay, so with conversion,
Whatever the conversion is, but it's not going
still,
to be. It's still not that
you're
outrageous.
paying more
I
for
was like, I
nosebleeds.
would pay that and drive to Toronto
Yeah.
in a heartbeat.
It's just ridiculous.
And people are complaining about that over there,
And
which is
not
so
to go too political, whatever. But everything else is so expensive in the world.
yeah.
And the tickets, you wonder why we struggle to grow the game. You need fans to go and see and experience it live. And it shouldn't take someone not eating for 3 weeks so you can take your kid to a game.
But I'm not saying it's right, but it's the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I
The
get
Toronto
it.
Maple Leafs are
I
going to have a
know.
following. It's been proven they've been bad a lot. They haven't
Yeah.
won in over 50 years,
Sheesh. I get it.
and people still go,
They still go.
and people still pay for merch and watch TV,
We
watch the games on TV.
single-handedly paid to have a team in Phoenix for all the Toronto Maple Leaf revenue.
That's all. That's all it is, right? The MLSE knows they can get away with it because the Leafs are the most storied franchise in the hockey.
It's 401 Gardner robbery is
Yeah,
what it is. It's
100%.
highway robbery.
100%. Are you good now?
I'm
You
good.
got your
I
rant
just
out?
needed to get that out.
All right. I have two more points on the Leafs, and then we'll get to the rest of the league.
Okay.
Uh, I am now convinced because of how much he's been ranting and raving about this guy that Jack would sell his soul for Anthony Stolarz. We touched on it a little bit already, but when Stolarz picked the puck up with his bare hand on Friday night against the Wings,
I screamed.
it was like the reincarnation of
I'm ride or die. I am ride or die
a
for Anthony
godly figure,
Stolarz.
we'll say.
I just I just loved it.
It was quite a sight.
And to pump it in the air. I got it.
He's
There's
pumping it in the
blades
air, and
everywhere.
Jack is yelling, he's the starter, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, it's November. Let's take it easy. He's the starter for now. Don't get me wrong. I love that he's playing so well.
Yeah.
Dial her down a little bit. It's November.
Even if things were to shift, I love the feeling that he's a Toronto Maple Leaf. Even if Wool goes lights out.
Did you know who Anthony Stolarz was before October?
Yes. Because I liked him. I streamed him a lot when he was in Florida
Okay.
last year.
Did you know who Anthony Stolarz was before last season?
Um, you know,
That's a no, folks.
did I know that purple peppers existed before I went to the market 2 weeks ago? You know, sometimes you discover something great standing right in front of you.
That's an analogy. Not quite the same, but whatever.
I love a purple pepper.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I think
Jack would
I
give his left arm for Anthony Stolarz.
yeah. Honestly, at this point, that's my guy. I love the heart of it. I love the just
What about your
showmanship
left arm?
of putting it into the air, of pumping the fist with the puck in it. That's a poster. You're a young goalie. Go get a poster of that.
Jack is acting like this is gonna be the most
This is the next
iconic.
Martin
No,
Brodeur.
this is the next Bobby Orr flying through the air picture we got from a regular season game in November.
Listen, I love that. I love every bit of it. Anthony, let's go play paintball. I don't know.
Paintball,
I
that's interesting.
I'm sure he's
I
into
don't
it.
think the Leafs are into that.
I did see a clip of him maybe assaulting a Windsor Spitfire in junior. Um, I didn't see anything wrong with it though.
Yeah, whatever. The CHL. We're gonna get to the CHL later.
Oh,
I got something to bring up about
oh,
the OHL later.
okay,
We're gonna get to that.
okay, we'll get there.
The CHL used to be keyword. The West is still like that. But the Q and the O has gone soft on us. It used to be, and you watch Junior B, Junior
That's because
C hockey.
Patrick Waugh
It was
can't
the
go.
wild, wild west. All right.
Patrick Waugh can't go find another coach. He's
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
NHL now.
yeah. Well, you're not allowed to fight in the queue anymore because it's. Don't get me started on
Okay,
how soft the CHL is. Last thing on the Leafs.
last thing.
Congratulations to Oliver Ekman Larson on 1,000 games in the
Thousand.
NHL.
I loved in the interview post game how everyone was wearing the
Yeah,
hat. I
good for
like
him.
that a lot.
Nylander can't wear a shirt, but he can wear the hat.
Swedish pretty boy. I like
But just the
that.
swagger to pull it off, doesn't give a
Are you gonna
shit.
buy one? Are they available for purchase?
I have no idea, pal.
Probably not. And are you really gonna wear an OEL hat? Maybe.
Probably not.
Congratulations,
Yep,
OEL.
good for you.
Congratulations.
Good for you. That's all I got on Leafs.
Yeah, me
Anything
too.
else on the Leafs?
No,
Nothing?
that covers it.
All right, you got your rant out.
I feel better. I feel like I cleansed something from
Yeah,
me.
it's not going to change. So
Doing this again in 6 weeks,
at
man.
least my rant a couple weeks ago, like it can be something can be done about it.
Make me president of MLSE.
Okay, we don't want the dictatorship here. All right, let's go to the rest of the league. Well, since we're on the theme of 1,000,
Yeah.
I believe that Connor McDavid, if he gets a point tonight, will reach 1,000 career points.
And
I thought
they are
I
playing
believe they're playing
Nashville?
Nashville at the Battle of the Shitbags. I believe it starts in 2 minutes.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, that is correct.
I might stay up and watch that one, to be honest.
So there you go. I just thought Jack would like that because McDavid's his hero outside of Anthony Stolarz. So, any thoughts?
I won't take these accusations
What accusations?
that I'm such an Edmonton Oilers fan,
The Oilers fan over the Leafs?
that
We're gonna find out on
that
Saturday.
Connor McDavid is not the greatest player to ever play hockey.
We're gonna find out on Saturday night. What are the Jacks a true
We
fan?
do. Oh yeah, we do.
We're gonna find out.
What time do they play on Saturday? Is it an 8 or is it a 7?
I believe it's 7.
It might be an 8. Just because it's Edmonton.
Yeah, but they usually cater to the East Coast.
True.
It's 7.
I mean, there's a lot to watch Friday, Saturday, sports wise.
There's a lot of games tonight.
There's a bunch of games
There's
tonight.
a bunch of games tonight.
That's why I might
For
actually
Friday,
stay
there's
up.
a decent amount of games tomorrow night for Friday.
Um,
And typical Saturday.
well,
slate.
Friday, everyone wants to see Jake Paul fight Mike Tyson. You know, that's such a legitimate sporting event.
I mean, I'd rather watch Nashville play Calgary, to be honest. If we're being completely honest.
If we're being completely honest, me too, but I'm still going to have it on the laptop.
Yeah,
I mean, no, I'm going to legally purchase it.
Yeah,
Actually, it's on Netflix.
it's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
What's next?
That's it. That's all you
That's it.
wanted to say. I thought you'd
Yeah.
have a lot more to say.
No, no, that's it.
Just the greatest player of all time.
1,000 points.
That's never won.
That's phenomenal.
That's never won.
I hope he. I mean,
That
I hope he
matters.
gets it tonight. I think he's talented beyond words. He's a shoe-in Hall of Famer. He's going to go down as one of the greatest, if not an argument for the
No,
greatest player of all
don't
time.
stop. Don't
There's an argument to be made.
don't disrespect Wayne like that.
Wayne, your wine sucks.
You just you a couple weeks ago you were on
It
here
was a
talking
lie.
about how great it
It was
was,
a lie. It sucks.
buddy.
I'm flip-flopping.
You don't disrespect the great one like that.
Your vineyard, subpar.
Don't disrespect
And we're from
Wayne.
an area with really shitty wine.
Don't disrespect the great one.
Um,
I need you to
do,
apologize to Gretzky right now.
Wayne, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean it. Your wine's fine. Your Chardonnay is shit, but your Pinot was good. What are your thoughts on
McDavid ain't touching Crosby, let alone Gretzky. All right.
it? Yeah,
My thoughts. I
he'll go down as one of the greater like talent guys, one of the
yeah.
greater like scorers,
Yeah.
greatest
I
player.
don't I
No,
don't I
I
don't
get it.
deny that
I
he's gonna
get it.
be one of the when he hangs them up, he's gonna
He's
be
a
considered one of the best ever.
top five.
Possibly. Not
Okay,
in my
this
books.
is another activity we should do.
Not in my books.
We've been playing with a couple different segments. I've actually come up with a couple different segments that I haven't discussed with you yet.
Okay.
We'll talk about it after because
You
I
know
want to
my
spoil it. I know
well,
yours.
it's not a segment. It's
It's a
well,
legit. Well, it's a segment. It's a
but
legitimate.
it's gonna be outside. It's not gonna be part of the pod. It's gonna be outside the pod.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are going to be like supplementary. We'll create a separate playlist
Whereas
for
they're
these sorts of
like some
episodes,
segments, if they're short enough, will be in the pod.
but some of them are going to be like long.
Okay.
Um, we've
Well,
got some things to discuss.
we'll talk about that later. Let's stick to hockey. Um, the Winnipeg Jets have the best start in NHL history.
The Ginger Snap,
I don't
Kyle Connor.
I don't. How are they this good?
They've
Don't get me wrong, they're a good team.
Connor Hellebuck.
Hellebuck is probably reason number one.
My gosh, is he
Yeah,
amazing?
Connor
Um,
Hellebuck.
I think
I might.
he might be the greatest goalie in the league right now.
Oh, 100%.
Um,
I'm just gonna throw something out here.
okay.
Has Mark Scheifele played his way onto Team Canada? Not saying whether I think he should or
um,
not.
I think it's well, okay. I still think it's a bit of a stretch, but he's looking good.
He's looking good.
He's looking real good.
Yeah.
Cole Perfetti's looking pretty good.
You know who's looking really good? Kind of out of the blue. Vladislav Nemeshnikov.
I didn't even know who this guy was before this season.
Oh well, that's the difference between you and I. We all know you're a casual.
I'm a casual.
Yeah,
You,
especially when it doesn't come to that. When
you
it
know
comes to
guys at the
better
junior Pee
leagues.
Wee rink in Windsor.
Well, that's a little excessive, but everyone hypes up. They in this house anyway calls me a savant. I'm no savant. You're gonna find out in our quiz segment.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. That I'm no savant. I have a decent amount of knowledge, but I'm not a savant.
I I mean, I've got guys I pay attention to. I consider myself like intermediate, but still
Yeah, yeah.
pretty
I'm
cash.
being hard on you,
But I did not know who this guy was
but
before this season.
He's buzzing. I think he's on the second line center maybe. But yeah, like again, the Dubois trade looks real fucking great for Winnipeg
Because
still.
what the hell's Dubois doing these days?
Yeah, I don't know. We saw him the other night.
Irrelevant.
He was kind of meh. Nothing.
Is he center one?
No, Strom would be center number one.
Because I know he started overtime,
He did
taking the
start overtime. Yeah, you're right.
taking the face off.
Yeah, and didn't touch the puck.
No,
What am I
for
doing
three
here?
minutes
Looking for the lines in Winnipeg. If this Wi-Fi wants to load, since we're in a basement,
in the middle of nowhere. Well,
kind of in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, the Meshikov second line center with Perfetti and Ehlers. Yeah,
Ehlers looking real good too.
yeah. There's like no complaints
Holy
here.
smokes!
But Hellebuck is the number one reason why.
Yep.
It's no mystery. That's all I got. I just Shout out Winnipeg.
Strongest start
We've been talking
in
about them a
history.
lot.
I remember as a kid. Do you remember the Buffalo where it was like 10 straight wins and everyone was losing their mind?
Yeah. Yep. That was like
Back
oh
with
06, oh 07, something like that. Tim Connolly, Thomas Vanek,
goalie
Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller. Oh, those were
Yeah,
the days.
they had some good teams in Buffalo.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they had some really good teams in Buffalo. Yeah, good for the Jets.
Good for the
I
Jets.
hope they continue.
I'm a bit of a Jets
I
guy.
like the Jets.
Yeah.
I hope they do well. Um, One thing is, there's a couple of teams we've been talking about a lot that I don't want to get too much into, but there's been a little bit of news, so we have to touch on it.
Okay.
The the Bruins sent down Poitras, which I thought was interesting because I do believe he's been one of their better offensive players. Now mind you, he might not be terrific defensively, but he's super young, and Boston is struggling.
So are they just doing a hey, we got to sort some stuff out, go actually like
Yeah,
play a good
I
game?
don't know what the plan is. From what I hear, it's kind of he can't. He's small. He's having a hard time handling the physicality in the
Mm,
NHL. So maybe it's go learn in the A. I don't know. I'm trying to find his stat line here. Might have to go to Hockey DB.
I'm just continuing to be happy that Boston has no
Boston's
idea how to
they're in a
play
playoff
hockey.
spot
How is that even
because the
possible?
rest of the Atlantic stinks too, outside of Toronto and Florida. It's funny the standards, right? Ottawa is like the same points tally as Boston pretty much, and we talk about how great Ottawa's been and how brutal Boston's been.
The
Just
benchmark. The benchmarks are
yeah,
different.
the standards are different. So far this year, he's only got 4 points, so I'm not going to say that he's been great. But in the few times that I have watched the Bruins, I thought he's been kind of a bright spot. Maybe you kind of let him learn a little bit. I don't know.
And I think there is a give and take in terms of like if your thought process is like, hey, go develop in the A. Well, it's tough to do that because it's not the same game.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not the same
and
pace. It's
it's
not the
probably
same
too
talent.
easy for him.
Yeah. So if you actually want to develop, it may be a bit of a hey, we're not doing great anyway, but come play competitive hockey in the NHL.
And even like you look at Boston's roster outside of Pasternak, where's the offense coming from? If you look at the lineup, it's really not great. It's actually like a crazy that
Yeah.
Montgomery has been able to get out this. Jesus Christ, I can't speak English.
That the fact that they're in even a playoff spot right
That
now
no, just the past 2 seasons, how successful they've been with this roster.
because it's pretty much
Obviously, year one, Bergeron and Krejci were still there, so
yeah,
that's a big reason why. But they had the best regular season of all time.
yeah. And to have this
And
steep
then
of
this
a
past season, they weren't as good, but they were still solid without those two centers. You look at their roster, it's not anything to write home about. A lot of people are starting to argue that Ottawa's roster is better than Boston's, and I don't necessarily disagree.
no, I think Stutzlo's showing up. You've got Giroux, who's got a nice veteran presence. You got Brady Kachuk, who is just destroying teams
Like
individually.
Boston fans kind of like I think they expected Lindholm to come in and be terrific offensively, and that's not really his game.
He's been, and
He's okay offensively. He's solid
I
offensively,
think he's been a little bit of a letdown to a lot of those fans.
but they didn't understand what they were getting then.
And what were
It's
your
just not
yeah, what
his
were your
game.
expectations coming in?
I think Zadorov is a bigger one. I've heard a lot of Bruins fans be critical of Zadorov.
Hampus Lindholm fell off a lot, and now I
You
think he's
keep touching
injured.
on this.
Now I
Hampus
think he's
Lindholm was good for 1 season.
yeah, he was so
He's
fucking
good for
good.
1 season.
I loved it.
He hasn't done anything in like 3 years,
2 years.
2 years, whatever.
Um, and now I think he's injured too.
Even
But he was a good offensive defenseman. Like he was good at like
how
feeding.
about we talk about the real McAvoy hasn't been good.
No, he hasn't.
McAvoy struggled. But I don't want to. We don't want to get too much into Boston. I just wanted to kind of touch on Poitras getting sent down. I thought it was a little strange.
Hmm.
Maybe Team Canada World Junior Team. He played last year.
Whoa, what? Whoa,
Maybe we'll see.
that'd be fun.
We'll see. He played last year. Yeah. What do you think? You agree with it? You disagree with it?
Indifferent. I'm just like I could see how okay, let him develop, but I think sending him down if that's your intention is the wrong call. So maybe he just
I just think if your problem is physicality, he's not going to learn that. That's the AHL is such a
no,
young league now.
no.
There's no the veteran minor guys playing in the East Coast now.
Yeah.
The AHL is all young guys for the
I don't
most
know.
part.
I don't
So it's
see the
not really gonna.
I don't see the point of it.
Yeah, I don't think it helps them. I
No.
don't think it helps Boston. I don't think it helps anyone. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay. Next.
Um, Here's another one. So Tanner Jeannot. Did you see Tanner Jeannot's hit on Brock Besser?
No.
Oh my God. Uh,
Should we pause here and watch it?
you can pull it up right now.
Okay.
I'll kind of touch on it. Uh, One of the dirtier hits I've seen in a while. I believe he got 3 games for it. It was ugly. Like you can't sit there on Hockey Night in Canada like they were a couple weeks ago with the Habs game and debate whether this is allowed and that's allowed. No, there's no like this one is clear cut. This is not something that should be happening. 3 games, check to the head, and Besser's out indefinitely. So how's that fair, right? I got it right here if you want to see it.
I think I've got it now. Oh, no YouTube Premium on the browser here. So who's this on? Poser?
Jeannot hitting Brock Besser. Tanner Jeannot hits Brock Besser. It's not clean. I'll tell you that.
Oh, jeez.
It's not clean.
The puck is well gone.
Yeah,
And he's staring at his head. He doesn't know the hit's coming. This is just dirty behavior.
yeah. I love physicality as much as the next guy, but like, there's no place. If there's anything you want to get rid of, it's this. Like, there's no place for this.
What is he thinking?
Don't know. Maybe he pissed them off. I don't know. So unfortunately for Brock
Jeez.
Besser, he was kind of like on the outside looking in for Team USA. I don't think
What's timeline for him?
he's out indefinitely. There's no timeline yet, so it's a concussion, right? You don't know. There's never a timeline.
A little,
It's kind of just play it by day.
little spoiler. I hope he's better by February.
Yeah, I don't. I think he would have been a bubble guy anyway. I don't think he would have made it, but he can't. He can't play. You're not even going to get a chance to play your way onto the team now
No.
because you're going to be even if you do come
What,
back, say
like,
you're fucked up
has
from this concussion.
any disciplinary action
It was
for.
3 games.
Seems a little low.
That seems low. For that, it seems low.
Yeah. You're intentionally, potentially
Yeah,
ending a guy's
I think
season.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Staying in Vancouver a little bit. Pedersen quietly starting to get a little better.
Heating up.
He's heating up a little bit, and then DeBrusque is another guy in Vancouver. He's kind of off to a slow start with his new team. He's been heating up a little bit. I think
Yeah.
he had
They're
three
starting to
games
get
in a
some.
row with a goal.
They're starting to get some chemistry there.
Vancouver's starting.
Finally.
Vancouver's starting to look good.
Just trying to buy Pedersen low.
Yeah, Lankinen has kind of saved them in the goaltending department
Yeah.
until Demko comes back. We've touched on that quite a bit. But Vancouver, 8-3-3.
Demko practicing now.
Yeah, Demko is practicing. We touched on that last week. Yeah, Vancouver. I didn't realize LA is in second division, but Vancouver is 2 points behind LA. But Vancouver's played 4 less games, so Vancouver's in good shape. They're on the heels
They
of
needed
LA and
Pedersen to start
Vegas.
to heat up.
Yeah, and he's been better. He's been a lot better. So is DeBrusque. Besser don't know how long he's out for. He's been one of the better offensive players for Vancouver to start the year. But yeah, Pedersen, Vancouver 7-2-1 in their last 10. Quietly, you
Good
haven't
for them.
really heard much about them.
Good for them.
So they're on the come up.
Let's go Vancouver. Canadian teams. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm going to support most Canadian teams.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Maybe not Montreal.
Montreal and Ottawa. I'm not going to support.
But, like, if it's a
I'd
Canadian
support
team
Edmonton.
doing well, Good.
Outscored Edmonton if McDavid wasn't on the team.
Ruins the whole team for him.
Yeah. But yeah, all the Western teams, I have no issue with.
Calgary sucks.
Yeah, Calgary's kind of fallen back down to earth.
Yeah.
But that goalie tandem is not Wolf and Vladar. They're keeping them in games still.
I
They're
gotta
still playing
tune into
well.
a Calgary game to see this in action every once in a while.
You're ready for bed or what? Make sure it's a road game. Don't watch at the Saddle Dome. Jesus. That's why I said earlier when you said the Tyson fight, I'd rather watch the Flames game, and it's at the Saddle Dome. Yeah, Vancouver, good for them. All right, we don't want to beat a dead horse here,
Okay.
but the Avs, just injury updates. That's it.
Okay.
Nichushkin is back Friday for sure,
That'll be a big help.
and it sounds like Druin and Wood are probably
Druin, I
going to
saw, was
play
back.
Friday as well.
Yeah.
So the Avs are starting to get some guys back,
Thank
and
goodness. They need it.
they hung in there without them. So what's it going to look like now that they're back? Look out.
Coming with a vengeance?
Look out.
No,
They're already in a playoff spot, right?
they're not making the playoffs.
They're in a playoff spot.
They're not. End of the year. End of the year, they're going to be out.
You're literally on meth. Like the Colorado Nashville take from a couple weeks ago, you look like an idiot.
Well,
You sound like an idiot anyway. No
well,
one knows what you look like yet.
well, it's on the way.
I'm still waiting. So the team that has the same amount of wins as San Jose is going to make the playoffs over Colorado. Makes sense. We'll get to them in a second. Yeah, Wood was buzzing when he got hurt, so good to see him back. Drew
Yeah.
didn't really play much before getting injured.
Yeah.
Nichushkin, I hope it works out for him.
Yeah.
It's back-to-back years where he's in the playoffs. Something's happened. He clearly has some sort of addiction issue.
Some issue.
So I hopefully it goes better for him.
Yeah.
Wish him well.
Yeah.
The one bad news about all these guys are turning for the Avs. Ivan has been sent down.
No. Oh.
Now they did do this a couple weeks ago when he came right back up. So we'll see.
We'll see.
But now that these guys are back,
it's nice.
He's probably one of the easier guys in the lineup to send down. He probably doesn't have to clear waivers, right?
Yeah, it's who knows? Maybe Ivan makes a return.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's a big break for that team, though.
Yeah, yeah.
That's huge.
They need those guys back. A little bit of secondary scoring because Makar got hurt. I think it was last week. Had a little bit of a scare. It didn't end up being long term, but that's like
which is
if he's out
had
or McKinnon's out, it's big trouble.
And both of those guys, from my understanding, I'm not as positive on McKinnon, but they've had very healthy careers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
yeah,
so it's like,
sure. Yeah, Makar hasn't been around that long, but I can't think of any bad injuries or anything. And McKinnon's a fucking mutant
monster.
Let's touch on Nashville.
Oh, do we have to?
I just want to touch on one thing. We don't have to talk about the team. I want to talk on. I just saw the stat. I read the stat today. There's a Sportsnet article talking about how Nashville spent over $100 million. Why are they so bad? And they chucked out a bunch of reasons, and there was a couple stats. This is the one I wanted to read to Jack because it affects him personally.
Oh no.
Jonathan Marchessault.
No!
We talked about Elias Pettersson a couple weeks ago. Now, before he started heating up a little bit with the even strength goals, Jonathan Marchessault has no even strength points as a Nashville Predator.
It's been a very, very bad
and Steven Stamkos only has 2 even strength points.
Marchessault has some points. He popped off for I think 2 goals a couple weeks ago.
All power play.
He's been doing nothing.
He has 0 5-on-5 points.
I am this close to needing to make a very tough decision with him.
You spent over $100 million on 3 players this offseason, and Trotz is out there. I don't know. Do we really think Trotz meant what he said when he said we're going to think about the rebuild? I think that's a scare tactic.
I think so too.
You can't spend that much money on guys that are over the age of 30.
Because you have to answer that. You made that decision.
Yeah, he made the decision. And if you looked at a little, listen, analytics to mean everything, but if you look at it a little bit, Stamkos's 5-on-5 game in the past couple of years has gotten a little bit worse. Marchessault Marchessault had a really good year last year, but if you look at Marchessault's career, it took him 11 years to finally get a 40 goal season.
to really figure it out. And
So is that an outlier? Do I think he's a bad player? No, I think he's a good player. He's a very solid player.
he's a
I don't
great
think he drives offense
he's not. He's a float around
Yeah, he
guy,
doesn't drive
and
his own offense.
he's gonna get some shots here and there, and he'll put some in. He
Marchessault
hasn't done
is
it
a
yet.
get in the slot guy. That's another stat that I read. His slot shots, his slot opportunities are down like 10, 11% this year, which is where he did most of his damage, right? And he's kind of staying to the outside a little bit. Get in the mixer, folks. That's where you get the goals.
Just talking about it with the Leafs.
Yeah, that's. I just wanted to chuck that stat out there,
Dig the knife a
just just
little
just
deeper.
to just to maybe see if you'll kind of take back.
There's a lot of hockey left to play.
Listen,
There's a lot of
do
hockey
you,
left
do
to
you think
play.
Nashville's going to win the Stanley Cup still?
I think it's I think it is looking bleak. I think they make a run
You
still.
you you picked them to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the NHL.
Who doesn't love a Cinderella story?
That is genuinely one of the worst takes you could have
It's a
hit.
Cinderella story.
And then you're doubling down and telling me, well, they have a better chance of making the playoffs than the Avs.
Okay, maybe a little hyperbole here, but I still think they've got so much potential in that team. They need to figure it out. Sure, do I have an answer for them? Not really, but they need some chemistry going. Maybe they need to change up the play style. I don't know, but they've got too much talent on that team to be this bad.
Listen, Nashville didn't start great last year either, and they went on a big run in the second half after that whole
That's what I'm
Vegas
saying.
fiasco. But they weren't this bad.
A lot of hockey
They
left.
weren't
That's
this bad.
all I can say and all I can hope
So
on.
I just wanted to see if
A
you
lot of
maybe
hockey.
back off a little bit on
I'm
your
not
take.
gonna back.
He's not backing off.
I'm not backing off.
I could I could see not backing off on making the playoffs, but winning the cup,
Once you're into the playoffs, it's a completely
winning
different
the cup,
story.
come on now.
We'll see. We'll see.
You got Ryan O'Reilly out here saying like he's calling himself out, saying I'm
Good.
playing dog shit.
That's leadership.
Like
We'll see come April.
I think you got to start. Listen, I know it's only November, but now is the time you got to start seeing something.
You do.
You
Yeah.
need to start seeing something.
You need some momentum
Yeah,
by December.
yeah.
Um, Otherwise, the season's just going to
Because
get
I
away from
think
you.
usually there's a statistic out there that if you're more than 4 points out of the playoffs, like into starting December 1st, I think like very low percentage amount
Yeah.
of very few teams.
Did they play tonight? I think they play
They
tonight.
play Edmonton tonight.
I think we just mentioned that.
Yeah.
We'll see. Live update score: St. Louis beating Buffalo 3-2.
Winnipeg's down 3-1.
New Jersey's crushing Florida 5-2.
Boston down to Dallas. Nationals winning 1-0.
Dallas. Duchesne having a nice season.
All right, back to business here.
Okay, back to business.
Celebrini is back.
He's back.
He's back. I
Is
think he might have
he?
scored 2 on his first game back.
Did he really?
Yep.
Good. Like I hope Celebrini does well. Like he can develop into a really nice player.
The Sharks are down 3-1 right now. Guess who scored?
Celebrini
No.
on the Sharks?
Yep.
No.
Guess who scored?
Lilligren.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I hope he does well there.
The Sharks are 5-4-1 in their last 10.
Who knows?
But they're better than Nashville right now.
Hey, let's move on.
But yeah, good to see Celebrini back.
Nice.
And he's played
Yeah,
well.
good.
He's played solid so far. We're gonna go to Pittsburgh. A little bit of news in Pittsburgh here.
To quote Kyle Dubas,
Before we get to Kyle Dubas, but this kind of does involve Kyle Dubas. Lars Eller has been traded back to Washington. He won a cup in Washington.
that's kind of cool.
He's back in Washington. I believe it was a third and fifth going back to Pittsburgh. Good for him
Kyle Dubas has basically put his hand on
because
the table.
because Washington is going to be a better team than Pittsburgh. So
No player is
I just want to touch on something quick because I'm just reading it right now.
Okay.
I'm just reading it
Is this
right now.
breaking news?
That's not breaking news. They did release this, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
I know they were talking about it, but I don't think it was confirmed yet. So Dakota Joshua was diagnosed with testicular cancer in the off season. He's making a season debut tonight.
Is he really?
Shout out Dakota Joshua. I
Good
thought
for
he was a
him.
really good
He was great.
addition, not really addition, but in the lineup last year, he made a bigger impact
Yeah. Good for him.
for the Nucks, and I was looking
Clearly,
forward to watching him
clearly
play.
he's healthy then.
Yeah, hopefully, it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him. That's I just wanted to
No, that's good.
toss
That's
that out.
nice.
Back to
Nice.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, the Eller trader doesn't really move the needle much. I imagine he's going to play third, fourth line in Washington, and that's what it's going to be. Pittsburgh gets picks back, maybe unload a little bit of cap space.
Yeah.
Doesn't really move the needle too much. Tristan Jarry is back up.
Yep, saw that.
Not sure what they're thinking for the goaltending situation. Nedeljkovic has been getting the majority of the starts, but they've been so bad, I don't think it really matters.
They're awful.
And it's kind of time to ask, is it time for Dubas to blow this shit up?
Dubas said this week, every player is on the market
Outside of Crosby.
outside of Crosby. You want him? Come talk.
Yeah.
They have put all the cards on the table. They're in rebuild mode. They know it.
Yeah.
They're just confirming it. What everyone else already kind of was anticipating.
I know we just signed this offseason. Does Crosby really want to do that? You did it at the end of his career. He stuck it out, but we later found out it's because he was going to own the team once he retired.
I if I'm Crosby, and we're close. I've got some stick handling skills. I wouldn't want to stay there. Why would you? If you want to win another cup, you want to go be a legend status.
Yeah.
Well, already a legend status.
Already a legend status, but 4 cups in this era, that's pretty unheard of. But I think if he had no cups, especially, but if maybe he only had 1 cup, say they didn't win the back-to-back ones, he probably would be more likely to say, "I want to go win somewhere."
Who knows what conversation
But because he's won 3 already, I think it's kind of
who knows what conversations he and Dubas have had.
Yep.
Who knows what their vision for the team is, and I really do think Crosby's probably in on that vision.
I would imagine
helping to form and be like, who do we need?
I would imagine that Crosby is going to play out this time in Pittsburgh. I don't think he's going to leave.
No. I think
he should leave, but I don't think he will.
I agree.
And that he'll probably have a front office position pretty much immediately once he retires.
Yeah.
And I think he'll have that for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Pittsburgh, we're way past the time here. It's time to
all those guys trying to sell Evgeny Malkin high.
Yeah,
fucking.
like Malkin's had a good year so far. Crosby's still buzzing at his age. He went out and got Carlson last year. If these guys are at their age are still playing well,
fine.
Crosby and Malkin, and you're still this bad with those guys playing that well,
your young talent sucks.
It's time.
Russ had a highlight the other night. He had a nice little
time to move on. It sucks to say,
and it's drastic change. That's necessary.
Sucks to say, but Dubas needs to prove his chops now.
Yeah.
He can't come in on a team that's already drafted all the players, and like he did in Toronto. Somebody else did all the dirty work for him, and then when the team was ready to go, he takes over, right? If he wants that to happen in Pittsburgh, he's got to do it himself.
Steel City, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Listen, I respect the franchise. Like, I love Sidney Crosby.
Iconic franchise. Storied franchise.
How you go from Lemieux and Yager one era, to Crosby Malkin the next. Listen, there probably isn't an NHL franchise in the past 20 to 30 years who has been more well off in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right?
To have literally generational talent.
That's like back-to-back. Obviously in Edmonton, but like there's a big gap between the Gretzky Messier stuff to the McDavid Draisaitl era. There's like a big 25-year gap, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the Lemieux, Crosby lived in his
got to
house
mentor
Crosby.
right?
Like it was literally
actively.
Now Pittsburgh was bad at the end of Lemieux's career
Yes.
for those couple of years at the end,
Yes.
but immediately get
You
Crosby
know
and
what?
Malkin right
You know what?
away,
You know what Pittsburgh might need? There's this guy out in Eastern Europe. His name's Yarmir Yager. Maybe just see
right?
if he
Yager's hanging him up.
see if he's open to the
Yager's
mix.
hanging him up. He's probably better than what they got now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, Dubas. Let's see what you're made of, pal.
Glad you're not with the Leafs, pal. You probably would have traded frickin' Nylander.
Uh, some injury news a little bit. Anthony Mantha tore his ACL. He's done for the
Yeah,
year.
that
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 sucks to
that's
see.
horrible.
That sucks to see.
Bad
Unfortunately,
injury.
he's never really got going. He's got a pretty decent reputation, but has never really popped off. He's been solid, but never really.
Yeah.
But hopefully he recovers and is good to go next year.
Yeah. Hopefully that recovery
Yep.
goes well, smooth.
We watched this guy the other night in the Sens Leafs game. Tim Stutzla's eye
The puck to
is
the face.
horrifying, and it
the,
just keeps
the
getting
man
worse.
looked like a villain.
Like it looks terrible. If you
Gang
haven't seen this,
violence.
go watch. Go
Go look at a photo.
you're
Viewer
squeamish.
discretion advised, but like
Yeah,
that is a
it's not looking good. And
gnarly,
it's literally gotten
gnarly
worse
bruise.
every day. Like it's brutal.
And he scored with it.
Yep.
He scored with
Yep.
it against the
Yep.
Leafs.
Good for Tim Stutzla.
Good job.
Obviously not the injury part, but the playing well part.
Playing well part
Yeah.
and toughing it out. That's
Yeah. Good
like
for him.
showing some heart.
Showing some heart, giving the Euros some respect. Uh, Another one here. Last NHL playing note. Did you see the fight between Jonah Gadjevich and Brendan Dillon? I don't
Yes.
know. Was it last night or the night before?
Night before. Tossing,
Absolutely slinging them.
standing and
Yeah,
banging.
that is like throwback. Love to see it.
Yeah, that.
That's what the CHL used to be. There's no usually the NHL. There's a little bit of a rhyme or reason. They still use the Chuck Knucks a bit, but they had strategy, right? But you throw back to the old CHL, especially the Western League, and you grab the other guy's jersey with one hand and just start
Just
swinging at
swinging.
each other.
You ever watch those Don Cherry
Oh, Rock'em
DVDs?
Sock, absolutely slinging them, and it's bringing you back to those days.
I was able to have one, and my dad would never buy me another
Really? Oh,
one.
I had a bunch of them. I had a bunch of them. I love
Oh,
that.
that brought me
That
back.
that's a throwback, and the fighting is coming back a little bit, a little bit.
Because the physicality seems to be returning a little bit to
Yeah,
the game,
yeah,
because people are kind of understanding, and
it's part of
I
it.
thought the game had permanently changed. Well, and it's part of it, and come playoff time, you can't just be a bunch of speedy guys who
Yep,
can't,
yep,
because the game gets so much more physical. The game gets chippy,
yeah.
and teams will walk all over you if you can't answer that, and then they wear you down.
Um, I think after the full season lockout 20 years ago, they were trying to concussions was a big thing
Big
then,
topic.
right?
Big
And
topic.
you see less and less of that now. It's not as much of a topic as it used to
The
be. It
Wade
still
Belak.
is, but you don't see as many massive hits like that anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what they needed to get rid of, right? It was just kind of that aspect of it.
Dirty, high impact.
Yeah, dirty hits. And listen, don't
Thanks,
get me wrong, there's still
Todd
probably going to be
Bertuzzi.
brain injuries from fighting,
Sure.
but the fighting is there's no more dropped up as soon as the puck drops, guys drop the gloves and fight.
Line
Like that, you don't
brawls.
see that anymore, right? It's
Not
more of a
really.
reaction to protect your team.
It's a self-policing
Yeah,
thing. It's a
exactly.
players need the ability to
Yeah,
self-police, and
which was the big debate
it,
on
it
Hockey Night in Canada.
it's the deter. Yeah, yeah. It's the deterrent of don't be stupid, because if you are,
Look out!
someone's coming for you.
Look out!
And so you get cleaner hockey because you don't have these, little guys who are taking either dirty, chippy shit,
Yeah,
knowing they can just walk away and get away from it. It even happened. Was it in the who dropped the gloves or attempted to? I think it was actually Domi who attempted to drop the gloves in
yeah.
the
Domi
Washington
dropped the
game.
gloves. What game was this? Was
That
it
was
Ottawa or
Washington.
Washington?
It was Washington.
So it was last night, and I believe the other guy was about was kind of starting to drop his gloves,
Because he
and
was
then
get.
but then it was just
Actually, I'm
the
trying to
scrum
think.
by
Was
then.
it
I
last
think it
night?
was Ottawa. I think it was
Because
Tuesday.
because
Yeah,
he was getting hit in the back of the head,
yeah,
and so he's like, "I'm not taking
yeah.
this."
And he dropped the gloves, but then they were kind of the ref was kind of in the middle, and I don't think the Ottawa guy could see him drop the gloves.
And then he dropped it like 10 seconds after,
Yeah,
and
it
it
was
had already been
kind of
killed by
already done by then. But yeah, love to see that kind of fight.
then.
We love to see that, folks. Now we were just touching on how the game has changed a little bit.
Sure.
It's a little softer, all right? We want to be safe, but we still want that physicality, all right? And we touched on a lot in this episode how soft the CHL is now. And this is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
And it's zero to do with on ice stuff. Do you remember last spring? I mentioned something to you about a London Knights player getting suspended. He got suspended, so he called somebody a pussy. And if we don't want to use that word, we can edit this out.
Sure.
He got suspended
Oh,
in the playoffs. I believe it was 5 games.
is this the same guy?
Just listen.
Oh my God. Okay.
So he got suspended for 5 games in the playoffs last year for calling the opposing player a pussy. And the opposing player turns out his dad had something to roll with the
Yeah. It
OHL
was
or
like
something, right?
enforcement.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is Landon Sim of the London Knights. He's back in the news. He has received the same length suspension because that's what it calls for, 5 games. This is even worse. He called somebody a Mennonite.
I remember reading this and just being like flabbergasted.
He got suspended 5 games for calling somebody a Mennonite. Is Mennonite a slur?
Apparently so.
Because that's the
Listen,
first I'm hearing about this.
where I grew up, there's a lot of Mennonites. Even around
I
here,
thought it
there's
was
a
just
Mennonite community. It's a German speaking,
like I didn't think it was a slur. I just like that's what they're called.
there's a religion associated with it. They're German speaking. They're all over the world. Um, I don't know. I don't think it warrants a suspension.
How
I don't
soft?
know. Are we out of touch?
How soft are we as a generation?
Mennonite.
That Mennonite.
Because the big thing with
This
Mennonite,
is hockey.
they
Even the culture is tripping.
a little bit. Sean Thornton brought him up a couple weeks ago.
What are we doing
Legendary
here?
status. I don't understand that where it's like there's no negative
Listen,
connotation.
folks, if you're using hate speech, if you're using racial slurs, homophobic slurs, whatever, I get that.
Yeah, Mennonite.
Mennonite? Even pussy, I don't get.
You don't use cell phones. You don't have like
I don't
lights on.
know.
That's what it is. Like
Maybe we sound 60 here. I don't know, but like
it seems a little bit
it's over the top,
over the
man.
top.
Like how soft are we as a society? Fuck's sake.
Yeah, I remember reading that, just being like, seriously,
Like, are you kidding me?
that seems
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I just wanted to see what you thought about it. Because
I don't know. Is the
you're
Mennonite community offended by this?
I don't know. I can't say I've read any comments or anything.
Listen, if
So
the Mennonites are like, listen, don't do this. This is deeply offensive to us. Then sure, let's be respectful
don't
of
they
them.
call themselves Mennonites?
Yeah,
So that's I
I don't know why a little bit of chirping during the game is so frowned upon. It's a competitive sport. It's psychopaths who play this game.
yeah,
You're flying around with blades on your
yeah,
friggin' feet,
yeah.
shooting a dense, hard, frozen puck, and somebody's like, "I'm gonna stand in front of that." What do you think that they're gonna do?
Yeah.
They're gonna get competitive. They're gonna be, flying around. It's a physical game. They're gonna trash talk. And you're right. There's lines that shouldn't be crossed. I don't know if this one crossed any lines.
No, not to me. I just wanted to get your take because I'm the hardo a little bit. You're
Um,
you're more of the
if
newer generation, even
if
though you are older than me.
it's true, if there is some negative connotation of like why is this deeply offensive, then it's like I'll listen to it, but this seems over the top and
yeah.
like how how can you church? Are you gonna get suspended if you're a Swiftie?
Tell us if we're wrong here. If the Mennonite community is offended by that, and
Well,
that's an
they won't be
offensive
able to
thing,
listen to this stuff.
true, you're right. You're right.
It's
So how do we
technology.
know? We don't know.
We won't know.
We'll never
They
know.
can't even tweet about it. They
Yeah,
probably don't even know what happened.
exactly.
They're reading it in a newspaper.
Exactly. Yeah, that was interesting.
Interesting.
All right. Last thing before we get to Team USA picks.
Okay.
The Hall of Fame inductee ceremony was Monday night.
Nice
We watched the
ceremony.
Hall of Fame game on Friday, the Toronto Detroit game.
Yep.
So congratulations to in the builder category, you had Colin Campbell and David Poyle. David Poyle ran your boys, the Nashville Predators, for a long time.
He'd be disappointed.
He would be. Uh, the two U.S. women's Olympians, Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell. Congrats to them.
Congrats.
And then the three NHLers in the men's player category, the Magic Man, Pavel Datsuk.
Phenomenal.
What a player.
Phenomenal player.
What a I'm not a I'm not big on the Red Wings, but
One of the
that's one of the players that
greatest
I
one of
respect.
the greatest decisions Red Wings
Yeah.
ever made.
What a two-way player too. He broke the mold because Russians back then weren't seen as two-way
No.
players.
They're pure offense.
Yeah. Congrats to Shea Weber. Good for
Yeah,
him.
nice.
I like to see
Yeah,
that.
big Shea Weber guy.
I love Shea Weber. And the most famous of them all of the night, Jeremy Roenick. He waited a long time for it, and it was deserved. And he probably waited a little longer because of his brash
Broad his
personality.
broadcasting career.
His brash
Yeah, I think they needed to
personality.
let that cool down.
Brash personality is putting it lightly.
Yeah,
And
that guy shouldn't be in media.
did you were you watching it?
The ceremony?
Yeah,
Yeah, we watched it.
you
Yeah,
watched it. Yeah.
yeah.
That speech pulled you up a whole bunch of different ways. It made you laugh. It made you cry. We were all over the place with emotion after that speech. I'm not saying I cried, but
It's a beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful game.
good for him, and he deserved to be in.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he it's solely on what you do as a hockey player.
I will never ever get the image of him running on skates after he scored.
Yeah,
Like, it's just an iconic kind of hockey moment.
yeah, and you don't hear too many guys in their Hall of Fame speech talking about peeing next to Mike Keenan in the bathroom on draft day, and with Mike Keenan asking you if you have big enough balls to play in the NHL. So,
Oh, Jeremy Roenick.
yeah,
Oh, Jeremy Roenick,
yeah,
you are an interesting
yeah.
character.
But congratulations
Congratulations.
to all those folks. Uh, and then they kind of released who's eligible for next year's Hall of Fame
Did
class,
they?
who's eligible to be inducted for the first time.
Okay.
Because obviously there's a bunch of people that haven't been inducted that will be eligible. Oh my God, this list is loaded.
Really?
Disgusting. So the first time eligible players for the Hall of Fame next season. I'll kind of go in the lower end and go up to the higher end players. So Keith Yandel, I don't think he'll make it. Dustin Brown, debatable. He's got a couple cups, but he's more of a leader than he was some terrific player. He's kind of on the fence. Braden Holtby will be on the fence.
Holtby.
He had a very good 2 to 3 year stretch. He won a Stanley Cup,
Yeah.
but the full sample size, I'm not sure it'll be enough to get him in. But he's on the bubble there. PK Subban is eligible. He'll be on the bubble.
Don't see him getting
I don't think he'll get in, but he's eligible. That's all
Okay.
I'm telling you. Jason Spezza is eligible. I
I don't
I
know.
don't know. He'll be bubble.
Yeah.
I think those five guys probably aren't getting in. I would say Spezza.
Spezza's fringe, but he never won a cup.
Spezza's probably number one there, and then Brown because he's won two as a captain, maybe.
Potentially.
But like pure ability as a player, I'd probably say Spezza has a
Yeah.
little bit of longevity
Yeah.
out of those five.
And what an iconic player in Ottawa.
Yep,
Like, just
yep.
iconic.
And then these six are pretty much pretty much
Locks.
locks. I'd say so. They're saying that four players can get in one class.
Okay.
So I'd say four of these guys are getting in right away.
Okay.
The two that won't get in right away, but will be in eventually. Tuukka Rask will be in eventually at some point.
Yeah.
Ryan Getzlaf won't be in right away, but he will be in very quickly.
Yeah.
And then the four that I think will be in right away, Zdeno Char will be in right away.
Yeah.
Jumbo Joe Thornton will be in immediately.
Absolutely.
Uh, one of my favorite
St.
defensemen,
Thomas boy.
one of my
Sorry.
favorite defensemen of all time, Duncan Keith,
Yeah.
first ballot, and the greatest goalie of his generation, Carey Price.
Lock.
Those four,
Lock.
those four are for sure locks and very likely to be voted in immediately upon first year of eligibility.
Love Carey Price.
Yeah,
Gone too soon from the league, but I get
yeah,
it.
just like Weber,
Yeah.
kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll be seeing that next year. I'd imagine those guys are in pretty much right away.
Duncan Keith's speech.
I love Duncan Keith. I fucking love Duncan Keith. Carey Price. Carey Price is so unfortunate. The teams that he played on.
Yeah.
Just the Habs were never really there while he was there.
He was so
If he
good.
would have had a cup, like I think you'd be talking about Carey Price as possibly the best goalie of all time.
Yeah.
And it was just the way he played was so smooth. It didn't look like he was trying.
And just in high pressure situations always got it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we ready?
I'm ready.
Team USA picks.
Holy smokes, they're gonna be good.
This was hard. This was harder for me than Team Canada.
I haven't made Team Canada yet, but
This was harder for me than Team Canada.
do you want to go first or do I go first?
We starting up front.
Yeah.
Line one. Go ahead.
Okay. Line one. At center. Your Toronto Maple Leaf, Austin Matthews. Left wing, Matthew Tkachuk. Right wing, Clayton Keller.
Clayton Keller on the first line. Wow,
I think
that's high praise.
there is a lot that is going to be found between those three. I think you've got Matthews who can kind of like do that sniper role. Matthew Tkachuk is going to be the in your face, go get the job done. And Clayton Keller, I think, is just. I think he and Matthews can get some good feeds going.
Tell me if the playmaker that I have on the first line is better than Clayton Keller or not.
Okay.
My first line is Austin Matthews center, Matt Tkachuk on one wing, Jack Hughes on the other wing.
Oh my gosh! You're putting him on the wing.
Yep. They have a lot of center depth.
They have a ton of center
And
depth, almost too much center depth.
Hughes pretty much can easily play the wing. Like,
yeah, I think most centers.
Yeah.
The thing is Hughes is a left-handed shot, is he not?
yeah, so
I don't know, just on the right wing.
play him on the left wing. Kachuk's a right winger, you know.
Kachuk's Matthew?
Matt Kachuk's a right winger. Brady Kachuk's the left winger.
I thought they're both left wingers.
No, Matt Kachuk plays on the right.
God damn.
Yeah, not that it matters.
NHL stats.net lied to me then.
Well, check Yahoo Fantasy. He plays right wing.
Okay.
I believe Matthew's eligible for both wings on Yahoo Fantasy.
Okay.
So
Line two.
Line two.
Centering JT Miller.
Okay.
Kyle Connor on the left.
Yeah.
Cole Caulfield on the right.
Wow. Keller and Caulfield, that's high praise. First two lines. My second line is Jack Eichel at center. Kyle Connors on the left, and I have Tage Thompson on the right.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to be a little bit different here.
Very different.
Line three.
Yeah.
Jack Hughes, Brady Tkachuk, Dylan Larkin.
Oh my God, that's your third line?
That's my third line.
That's better than your second line.
I think.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's my.
I think I would swap.
Okay, I'm going in for like every single one of these lines. I wanted to first of all, break up the Kachuk boys. I really like the chemistry that I think could be there between Kyle Connor and JT Miller. Cole Caulfield, just young guy who can skate a shit ton. So that's why I put him there. Jack Hughes, Brady. Like the thing is with these lines, every single line is dangerous.
Your third line's like a mile and a half better than your second line.
Well,
That's your second line. My third line is Brady Kachuk on one wing, JT Miller on one wing, and Dylan Larkin at center.
yeah,
And that's your shutdown line.
yeah, it's a good shutdown line.
That's your shutdown third line.
Fourth line, Eichel.
Oh my god. Fourth line?
I don't know. I don't really like Eichel that much.
You think Eichel will play less than Larkin?
I don't know. I just made
Oh
lines.
my god.
Gents on the left, Brock Bozer on the right, but obviously with the
That's
injury,
probably not going to happen.
yeah.
It was probably unlikely even if he wasn't hurt. My fourth line is Trocheck centers the fourth line. Uh, he plays with Jake Gensel and Jason Robertson.
I was wondering about Jason Robertson. I don't know.
You have a 13th forward.
My 13th forward was Trocheck.
It's a good shout. My 13th forward is Matt Boldy.
Interesting choice.
So here's what I'm gonna say with the U.S. Now everyone's hyping up the U.S. A lot of people think that the U.S. are the favorites because they have a ton of talent up front.
Sure.
But if the U.S. just go based on all pure talent players, they're not going to have the know-how. They're not going to have the little
Grit.
things that it takes to win. If they're just going to take all skill guys.
Yeah.
Now, Cole Caulfield and Clayton Keller have had terrific starts to the season. The problem with this exercise is you're picking a team that's playing a tournament in February, and you have to have the team locked in by the beginning of December.
A lot of guys who
So the
started off get
guys
pulled
that
down.
starting off hot might not be hot in February.
I'm a big Clayton Keller fan.
I don't think you should be going off of who's hot now. I think
I
it's full sample size.
I'm going with I'm going with the season because I'm a big what have you done for me recently guy. I don't care if you were good last season.
But it's not
I
about
want to
last
know
season.
what are
It's
you doing
about
right now.
what do you bring to the table specifically? What do you bring to the table? Cole Caulfield might bring goal scoring, but what
Yep,
else does he bring?
that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
You already have 5 or 6 guys on that roster who are bringing that to the table,
Yeah.
right? Clayton Keller is a very good player. He's had a terrific start, but Clayton Keller, I don't see Clayton Keller as a first or second line player on Team USA. I don't think he's as good as some of those players. And do you see Clayton Keller playing a shutdown role in the third or fourth line? I don't.
No. Not on the third and fourth line.
I don't see that. And then I also took into account Matt Boldy, who's actually had a really good season so
Yes,
far,
he has.
a very good start. I'm taking into account that Billy Guerin is a big time involved in this picking this team.
Mm,
So Minnesota guy, right?
yeah.
Take that into account a little bit. I actually going into the season, I'm not sure I would have had Kyle Connor on my team going into the
Based on
season,
last season?
just based on what he brings to the table. Again, just like Caulfield, he's a very good goal scorer.
Yeah.
What else does he do?
That's it. He scores
He
goals.
scores goals, right?
Yeah.
I think between Connor and Caulfield, they both started out very hot. I think you had to probably pick one of them. And I think Connor's overall career, he's shown that he can sustain goal scoring a little bit more than Caulfield
Mm-hmm.
because Caulfield has been a little streaky since he's been in the league, and Connor's a little bigger. Caulfield's small.
I'm also just like, okay, you have to think about power plays too, and you do need some right-handed shots. Cole Caulfield's a right-handed shot.
Well, Tage Thompson's a right-handed shot, and he's 6'6".
It's a big boy.
He's a big boy, and he can shoot the fucking puck. So
So this wasn't even the hot take zone that I thought you were
no,
going to visit.
well, I think I don't think Keller and Caulfield making the team is a hot take. I think them being on the first and second line is a hot take.
I like him. I
Because
like him.
very much debated putting them on the team, but I just think like guys listen, Jason Robertson hasn't had a terrific start to the season, but I think Jason Robertson's overall game can translate into a depth role, right?
And that's where even
And
in
if he
some
can find his scoring touch, that's just an added bonus, right?
even in some of these fringe guys, you're like, okay, on their existing team, maybe they're nothing special. Surround them with a lot of
Yeah,
talent.
yeah.
Suddenly their game's elevated a bunch.
Trocheck.
Yeah.
Not that he hasn't been good in New York. He's been very good in New York.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't consider Trocheck like a high-end talent guy, but I think you need him on your team. He's one of your shutdown guys. Larkin's kind of in the same boat.
I think you're gonna lose it at my D-man.
That's fine. Let's hear it.
Uh,
First pairing.
First pairing: Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox.
Very offensive.
We're loading
Extremely
up.
offensive.
Our line one, my line one is gonna be goals. The whole team's goals.
My first pairing is Quinn Hughes and Charlie McAvoy.
Yeah, fair.
Second pairing,
Jacob Slavin, Brock Faber.
I don't hate it. My second pairing is Jacob Slavin and Adam Fox.
Yeah, okay. A little bit more
So
distributed.
you because you have the two righties in McAvoy and Fox,
Yeah.
two lefties in Hughes and Slavin, and then Hughes and Fox are the offensive guys, so you kind of separate them a little bit. That's my thinking.
This
But
is
I don't hate your second pairing. I actually like it a lot.
this is where you're gonna
Third
maybe
pairing.
question things. Third pairing: Chikrin, John
Oh,
Carlson.
God.
The choo choo train is alive and well. The Washington boys are showing up and they're just gonna clap.
You think John Carlson's making this team?
He's a leader. He's a leadership guy on D.
My third pairing, just so you know, that Jack hasn't said Charlie McAvoy's name yet. Just so you know. Maybe he's his seventh defenseman. I don't think he is because I know who your seventh defenseman is because you obsess about him in Ottawa.
You think he's seventh?
Is Jake Sanderson not your seventh defenseman?
Who's your next pairing?
My third pairing is Noah Hannafin and Brock Faber.
Good choice. I like
I'm
the
going
Hannif. I
fire Jake
debated
Sanderson.
I debated Hannafin a lot.
Yeah, I love Faber. It's just he's a little young. You don't want to throw him into the fire too
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
He's playing third pairing.
Um,
Is Sanderson your seventh defenseman?
it is Sanderson.
Yeah, I have Sanderson as my seventh defenseman too.
He's so good right now.
I like Jake Sanderson. He's a very good player. But if the seventh defenseman's coming down to Jake Sanderson or Charlie McAvoy, I'm taking Charlie McAvoy. Sorry.
It's similar where it's just like I just haven't liked McAvoy this season.
See,
So
that's
I'm a
can't
recency
you
bias
can't
man.
think recency bias. The tournament isn't for 3 months.
I get it. I get it. But we're deciding today. And I'm saying who's got momentum,
Just
who's
stupid.
looking really good, who's playing
Stupid.
really well.
Anyway, my backup options for forward, just so you know, were Keller and Caulfield. Those are my two backup options
Yeah.
in case of injuries.
Um
And then my backup options on D, you named Carlson and Chikrin. They're not even my backups.
I knew you were gonna lose your mind at this.
They're just stupidity.
Um my backups for the other D men obviously in the conversation. Um yeah, McAvoy
Arjun McAvoy is one of your
and
backups.
then Keandre Miller. People are talking about a lot, but I haven't
Yeah,
loved him this season at
not
all.
quite there.
No.
There's some other guys there. My backups are Zach Wierenski and Brady Shea. Just because
Yeah,
it's
okay.
more of a shut that you just like
You can't
your
have just
backups are
pure
more of just steady
offense.
shutdown guys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I wanted to bring Washington's gonna show up.
Yeah, apparently.
Chikrin John Carlson.
Good luck with that. I think I might be winning Team USA.
I think goalies are some of the biggest shoe-ins here and
Yeah,
it is scary how good
it's
it
not
is.
really too much of a debate.
Hey, I wonder if Hellebuck's on your list.
I would be shocked if you're 1, 2, 3. It's not if it's got to be Hellebuck, Onger, and Swayman. I would imagine
So if Demko's back,
Demko, but I don't think they're gonna take Demko just
because he just
because
hasn't
he
played.
hasn't played enough.
So I did put down Hellebuck, Demko, Swayman, um, with the kind of caveat being if it's no
You would keep Swayman over Ottinger right now? You're talking about recency
this
bias.
is the debate.
You're talking about
I know.
recency bias.
I just think Swayman shows up in really big scenarios, and I think
Ottinger's historically been better in big scenarios than Swayman. Swayman has played well for one playoffs. Ottinger's been
really well for one playoffs.
he won one round.
And a hell of a round he put on. I think I don't know.
Do you remember a couple years ago? Remember when Calgary lost to Edmonton in the second round a couple years ago? Edmonton got swept by Colorado in the conference final,
Yeah.
and Calgary was the number one seed in the Pacific, and they played Dallas in the first round. And Ottinger almost stole that series by himself. Because Dallas wasn't there yet. They weren't what they are now. He was lights out. And then last year led them to the conference final. He has a lot more pedigree in the playoffs than Swayman.
I get it. I get it. I don't think you can make like I don't know. It's so nice to have such depth in goaltending.
Yeah, yeah. Whoever the fourth goalie is, come play for Canada
Yeah.
because you'll start.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would say
Exactly.
that Demko, if I think that Demko, if fully healthy, probably sneaks a spot over Swayman
Yeah.
based on pedigree. But because of the injury problems, I think Swayman will get a spot. Now, mind you, maybe they don't think that way because Demko will definitely be back by then, and Swayman hasn't played well to start the season, so maybe they're thinking differently. At the end of the day, Hellebuck's the starter, Ottinger's the backup. The third goalie really is kind of irrelevant. There's a
Yeah.
very low chance the third goalie's playing at all in
Yeah.
this tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I just looked something up real quick.
Oh no. Oh no.
I believe the rules in this little exercise were that you have to include all the players that were already named up to the roster. So, i.e., on Team Sweden, I didn't want to take Eric Carlson, but Eric Carlson was already named to the team. Charlie McAvoy is already on Team USA.
Oh. Okay. So I need to make a
So
decision
you need to
here.
cut somebody.
Okay. So we're gonna do.
Absolute disgrace that it's not on your roster to begin with, but
Okay. Oh. Yeah, okay. We're gonna pair Jake. We're gonna pair Jake with McAvoy. John, you're done. Sorry, buddy.
Carlson's gone.
Carlson's gone.
You're pairing. You have two Jakes, so Sanderson or Chikrin.
We're gonna pair him with Jake.
They're both Jake.
Yeah,
You got to pick one.
pair him with Chikrin.
Okay, and Sanderson's the seventh D.
Sanderson's the seventh.
All right, there you go. I could have said nothing because it would have benefited me because you would have got it wrong. But according to the rules that we agreed upon, maybe if you did a little bit of research before you made your
Yeah,
team,
I didn't realize he had already joined.
he was already named to the team, which just shows how much you know that you cut him from your roster. Don't worry, I wouldn't take Eric Carlson. I know that old Sweden coach said he wouldn't take Eric Carlson either,
You were saying this earlier.
and I agree. And there's probably a player on Team Canada's first six that I probably wouldn't take either, but we'll get to that next week.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't think it's too much of a shock who it is if you look at the list of
I
players.
don't think I've seen the most recent list. Is this a recent
This no, this
announcement?
no, it's the first six that were selected in like June. I don't we don't have to name them, but
Okay.
if you look at the six players, I think you'll know who I'm talking about.
Okay. Anything else on deck?
No, that's all we got for this week. Uh, look forward for Team Canada reveal our Team Canada's next week. And the Leafs have a little bit of a slower week, I believe.
Well, hold on. Kyle Dubas is one of the GMs for Team
He's
Canada.
like the fifth guy in line. It's irrelevant.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah. So the Leafs play Edmonton on Saturday, and I believe they play Vegas on Wednesday. Those are the only two games
Yeah,
before our next recording.
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see you then. Hopefully, we got a lot to talk about. We did it pretty quick. We were under 2 hours, and there was a lot of topics
There's a
today.
lot of topics.
Anything
I think
outside of hockey?
um on a running program now.
Running program.
Me and my girlfriend have been running 3 times a week.
Wow.
Doing
Nice.
our best out here.
Nice.
Other than that,
Some of us got to work all weekend while you're out here running.
I've been enjoying bean salads recently. So other than that, no, that's pretty much it.
What an exciting life you live.
It's the little things.
Bean salad.
It's a wicked bean salad. I'll I'll get into this
Doesn't
another
really
day.
matter what you tell me. Salad's not getting me going.
The guys with the stars have already been named.
Yes, I believe so.
I know who you're
Yeah,
thinking of.
I think you know. And it's not McDavid. I'm not that much of a hater.
Well, As always, guys, it's thank you for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment. We love some engagement. Um,
We have some social media accounts. Follow
yes,
us.
follow us on social media.
Follow us on Instagram. I don't know if we have a TikTok yet, do we?
I think we haven't registered. I don't think
So
there's
no TikTok. So follow us on Instagram. Follow us on X, but what we like to call Twitter.
Twitter.
It's Twitter.
We're kind of like trying to stumble our way through getting all these things up and finding an efficient way to do all this. So
I did. I in the tweet we kind of I dropped it a little bit. The puck yourself quiz. We're gonna be recording some quick quizzes.
it's gonna be
Since
fun.
everyone calls me the savant,
The
we're
savant.
gonna prove that wrong because it's not true.
It's gonna be scary close though.
But we're gonna go both ways. So some episodes Jack will ask me
Yep.
questions, and other episodes I'll ask him, and his will be a little
Easier.
easier than mine. We got a lot of topics, so get ready for a lot. We'll probably record a bunch in
Yeah,
one
we can
day,
kind
in
of
one
blitz
whole
these
day,
out.
right? And but we'll release them separately.
Yeah. Share us with your least friends. Share us
Yeah,
with anyone who just likes talking hockey,
yeah.
listening to hockey talk, and tell us where we messed up. Tell us where we're stupid.
There's
Tell
probably a
us,
lot.
yeah, there's probably a lot.
Yeah.
Tell us how bad my Team USA lines are.
I mean, no worse than your team Sweden. So
um, anything else?
no,
Go puck yourself.
fuck the Oilers. Go Leafs, go.